One house we looked in had a stripper pole in the base in the
garage.
Okay,
that's spicy.
Yeah, so we had an interesting home search. Yeah,
it's almost better than the pool.
Yeah. Hey, it's a way to get exercise. That's one way to look at it. Welcome to the Sticks and Stones Podcast. I am your host, Ebony Lincoln.
And I am Tracey Crow.
And so we just want to start off just reminding you to like, click, share, subscribe, and follow us at Sticks and Stones Cigars on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and, of course, Patreon for subscribers only. So, Tracey, let's get into what we are drinking and smoking tonight.
Okay, tonight I'm smoking a Drew Estate Acid 1400, and I have paired that with a Malbec.
Nice. So I have La Aurora Preferiditos. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. La Aurora Preferiditos Gold. And we'll talk a little bit more about our thoughts on it and what we are pairing it with. I'm pairing mine with a gin and pineapple cocktail. So we'll talk a little bit more about our thoughts on that. Tonight, we're here to talk to one of our good friends, but also a very experienced professional in a number of different ways. We are talking to Ursula Reed. She is the Nashville Concierge and is a realtor and foodie. Her goal is to provide knowledge and education while finding a home to match your family's needs. And so we are so pleased to have her with us today, and we just want to welcome Ursula Reed. Talk to us about what your business and what it is that you are starting up and what it all really means.
Yes, so you are Nashville, the Nashville Concierge. First and foremost, like you mentioned, I just love helping and serving people when it comes to just building relationships and just making sure that they have a good experience when it comes to their home purchase. And so with that, I'm a foodie, so I'm always giving out different recommendations that people can follow. And so for me, between real estate and when it comes to food recommendations, I love to be able just to find different places that people can go and have an experience. So for me, everything is about creating an experience, whether if it's through real estate or through food.
Yes, love that. So you're bringing together the world of real estate and food. So what are your tips for people that are trying to find a home, can't find a home, inventory is low? What do you recommend, like top 3 tips for people looking for a home right now?
Yes, so first and foremost, making sure that you are ready and prepared financially, because you may have to come with some extra money and just kind of come out the pocket. So making sure that you're ready and prepared, even if you have to dip into that 401k, just remember that you're investing back in yourself, right?
True.
And so that's one thing. And then, of course, you want to get you a trusted realtor, somebody that's going to advocate on your behalf and also keep you educated, because the market is changing daily. How we're putting in offers now is changing daily, too. So that will be another tip that I would put out there, making sure that you have some good avocation. And then, in addition to that, the other thing that I would put out there is making sure that you have a lender that's well knowledge in this market, because lenders, of course, see a lot of different contracts coming across their desk on the daily. They're able to advise your realtor and give your realtor tips on what they may need to do in this market too. And one thing I will say, especially for buyers in this current market, is trust your realtor and make sure that you understand that your realtor is educating you best as into what's going on in the market. And it's tough out here for buyers. Now, sellers, on the other hand, sellers are winning right now.
Right.
Okay, they make it their own.
Yes.
So, it's definitely a seller's market right now.
So, talk to us about some of the challenges. I know when I was looking, houses were having 20, 30 offers on it in one day. And 20,000, 30,000 over asking.
Yes.
What are ways that people can overcome those challenges if they find themselves in that type of situation? What do you recommend? How do you sweeten the deal and get the home?
Yes, so when we talk about sweetening the deal, and a lot's changed just really in the past month and a couple of weeks, you're looking at considering essentially maybe doing a pass-fail inspection. So then, therefore, you can still do your inspection period and do your due diligence there, but you're not asking for repairs from the seller, because more than likely they're not wanting to do that at this point in time, and they don't have to. Other things that you would want to consider is, making sure that that appraisal gap, if it was to come in low, is going to be paid for by the buyers. Because at the end of the day, that seller can put their house right back on the market and find somebody else who's willing to pay the gap. So that would be another tip, and that's why I say you might want to have some cash on hand to be able to fill that gap. So those are two important tips that I think that are important, especially in today's market when you're talking about coming up with a winning offer.
Awesome. So last but not least, I always ask this question of the professionals that come on the show. As you think about, growing up in Birmingham and being a young black girl in the South, and also thinking about those young people today that might want to do some of the same things that you're doing today. Maybe they love food, or maybe they are very interested in the real estate market. What advice would you give your younger self, or someone that is younger but also wanting to do some of the things that you're doing?
I would say to come up with a plan of action, making sure that you follow that plan of action, and then just go for it. I think a lot of times we may overthink the process or things that we may want, but just go for it. I mean, you only live once. Go for it, meet those goals and things that you're wanting to do, but make sure that you have a plan of action that you're following. So then, therefore, I can remember growing up, and my thing was I'm checking off as I go through and meet those goals. And for me, it helped build my self-confidence. And I would say, to any young person, building our self-confidence and making sure that you're self-assured is what's needed first and foremost.
Absolutely. Well, I know I said that was my last question, but I have one more. We can't let you leave the show without telling us your favorite restaurant in Nashville, or maybe a couple of your favorites.
Here we go.
Woo, okay. Are you guys ready?
Give us two then.
Okay, you want two? All right. So my very first one, and we've been here before, but the Optimist is definitely one of my favorites. Love the fresh seafood there. Awesome oysters there as well. And then one of my other spots right now would probably be, you're going to be surprised at this one, but I love to go to Jim and Nick's.
Okay.
They have awesome salads. Love that cheese bread as well. And so Jim and Nick's is one of my other spots that I go to too. But other than that, I can put a little Eddie V's in there.
Yeah,
if I want to step it up.
Yeah, but that's a good variety there. You got the barbecue, and then you've got the Optimist if you want the seafood, and then Eddie V's if you want to just take it all the way to the top.
Yeah.
Right? Well, thank you so much for those tips. And right now, we just want to kind of go into the crow's nest. So, Tracey, what's going on in the crow's nest?
So, it's perfect that you're here today, because my topic has been basically, you already know, is the hot topic in Nashville and honestly across the country, which is to buy or to continue to rent. In today's market, we already know that, houses don't even go on market. They're already sold before. So in today's market right now, if I'm trying to buy a house now, would you tell me to wait since it's a seller's market? Or would you tell me to come up with more money? What are your thoughts on buying a house now today with COVID, with lumber prices going up 30-40%, and not really knowing how the COVID thing is really going to, or if it's going to end? What would you say to do?
For one, if you're ready to buy now, that you do have the cash flow to be able to step up there, because the reality of it is that even when we look into November and December, these prices are definitely going to be about the same. I think the amount of buyers and people looking won't be as heavy as it is now during these summer months, but the housing prices are going to continuously climb. So if a person is ready to purchase, I would say even thinking about new construction as being an option too.
Mm-hmm.
And then just setting up the person to be able to purchase in this particular climate and making sure that they're successful. But one thing that buyers would need to think about right now in this market is that you may have to sacrifice a little bit and get something that is more of a temporary situation for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So then you can help build some equity to go into another place. So I say that to say because rent prices are going up too.
Yeah, you saying go ahead and buy if you can.
Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and buy if you can. If you got that cash flow, go ahead and buy if you can. And then, you know, last option would be to rent.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You have any thoughts?
I'd love to know some crazy things that you've seen as you've looked in houses, or like what's been one of your most interesting experiences as you've been showing houses.
Really? Well, it's surprising that you bring that up, Miss Ebony. The experience that sticks out to me, and I'm sure it's probably yours as well, is, you know, going to visit a guy's home that apparently was very much into rock music, and you know, I love rock. That was his thing, you know, and it definitely showed throughout his house. But as we went through the home, we saw some very interesting things. We may have had like maybe some sadism type of things maybe going on in different areas of the house. But then,
who was his realtor?
Once we got more into the house, initially downstairs in the main bathroom, we saw a Confederate. It was like a Confederate thing on the bathroom. So I don't think Ebony saw that first one. So we're steadily going through the house and looking, and we get upstairs. And then we see another one in the bathroom, you know. So Ebony pointed out and was like, "Did you see that, girl? Did you see that?" I was like, "Yeah." Now, keep in mind, throughout the time, we also trying to dodge his cats that he got throughout the house too.
He had multiple cats.
Multiple? It was multiple.
Come on, who's his realtor?
Throughout the house. So we get to this linen closet, right?
Yeah.
We open up the linen closet just like we would any other time. And sure enough, when we open up that linen closet, it's a spray can, and it says nigger repellent.
No, it don't.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. So for us at that point in time, of course, we already knew we weren't necessarily welcome,
did he want
right?
to sell a house?
Not to us.
Not to us. Clearly not to us. But you know, he kept his distance. We kept ours throughout the home search and just kind of going there. But it was one of those moments where it's like, you know what?
Let's go.
He was very well aware of what he was doing and who he wanted to not put an offer or a bid on his property. So Ebony was like, "You think his realtor?" The next day, "You think his realtor?" No, I was like, "I'm sure."
It was very sad.
I'm sure.
That's sad.
So that was just definitely an interesting moment.
And he had a lot of former pet remains. Like it was just a really weird setup.
It was.
No.
Yeah.
They were all in the closet.
Yeah. It was like, you know how people put the remains of their
Were they labeled?
They had names on them.
No, ma'am, Pam.
Yeah.
We're good. I would. You had me at the I would have been at the door waiting on y'all. Let's go. No, I would have been in the car. The cats would have got me.
So let's talk real quick about our cigar pairings and how we would rate them.
My Acid by Drew Estates. This one here has more of a vanilla flavor, sweetness to it that I like. So that's always going to be my go-to. So for me, where are we rating 1 to 4 or
1 to 5?
1 to 5, 4.5.
Okay.
All day.
Okay. So this is a great cigar, but I'm having a hard time keeping it lit. I think it's because it is a double perfecto, which means that it is tapered at both ends. And even though I cut it kind of deep, I feel like I'm having a hard time keeping it lit. But some of the things that I'll mention about it is that the wrapper, binder, and filler are from the Dominican. And it's a pretty hefty cigar because it's 5 inches and 54 ring gauge.
Okay.
It is a medium body profile cigar. And with that, I think it's one of those cigars that you can enjoy almost any time of the day. You know, it's not too heavy and it's not too light. In terms of what I taste within it, I taste maybe like cedar, nuts, and maybe a little bit of leather.
A little pepper.
No pepper, but just a little bit of leather. So I like it. I just don't like the fact that I'm having a hard time keeping it lit. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it a 4. The taste is great. And the other thing that I'd say about it is it comes in this nice little
that's nice.
case and container. And you could use this for a lot of different things. You know, reuse this for a lot of different things.
All righty then.
So let's remind our folks to follow, like, click, share us on social media, on all the social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and let's not forget about Patreon. That's where you're going to find the Sticks and Stones Cigar Podcast, but that's also where you're going to find our After Dark. And we get a little racy in the After Dark. So, quick reminders, if you've been smoking and drinking with us tonight, we ask that you do so responsibly. And then last but not least, Ursula, would you like to have any final comments, anything you want to tell the people?
Yes, indeed. Definitely. If you will go to IG and follow me at URNASHVILLE, the Nashville Concierge. I am looking forward to being able to connect the real estate industry with the restaurant industry, and essentially being able to talk about what's going on in the market in the Nashville area, whether if it's with a lender, another realtor, or a developer, and essentially be able to put that market out there and marry the two. Like, who doesn't love food, right?
Right. You gotta eat. Yeah. That's awesome. I think that what you offer is very much needed in not just in Nashville, but in, like you said, in any metropolitan city right now. Real estate is just hot. So looking for a realtor, looking for someone that can give you good food recommendations, Ursula is certainly your person. And again, thank you for joining us on the Sticks and Stones Cigar Podcast. I'm your host, Ebony Lincoln. She is
Tracey Crow.
And we thank you for joining us.